Well, hello there, and good day to all of you Pauper screwballs out there. We're going to be screwing around with something pretty wacky today, so I hope you enjoy. And if you do, don't forget to leave me a like, perhaps consider subscribing. It's the virtual equivalent of giving me a pat on the back and pinching my cheek. And I quite like that. It makes me blush, makes me feel like I'm doing a good job. Anyway, onto the deck. We're going to be playing sort of a Pauper recreation of the modern deck Living End. And I have to credit this deck list to David Royale. He made a cool video about it as well as this deck tech and sideboard guide. So I'm going to link that down below. Go check it out. But the basic idea of Living End is in modern is you use a cascade spell such as Violent Outburst or Demonic Dread, and you use it to find the card Living End in your deck, which reanimates a bunch of your creatures. Well, in Pauper, we don't have Living End, but we do have our old friend Exhume. So the idea is that everything in this deck costs 3 or more. So the Cascade will always find our Exhume. And so basically what we want to do is try to cheat out an Ulamog's Crusher or one of our big land cycling creatures with Exhume as early as turn 2 or 3 using Violent Outburst or Demonic Dread. And this deck recently got some upgrades with the Omen Dragons, which of course are expensive spells, so they don't get cascaded into, but they've still got useful sorceries on their Omen side, so we can still have some things to play in the early game. That's all I'm going to say about the deck. Go check out David Royale's guide if you want a more in-depth explanation, but I'm ready to get to some games and reanimate some crushers. So let's get started. Okay, here we go. Round 1 against Carves. And this is kind of a kooky hand to start with. Let me take a second and make sense of this. We don't want all those Exhumes in our hand, and we don't really have the right lands. This hand is also weird and slow, but we'll keep it. We'll put the Exhume back since these are basically Exhumes, or maybe I should have put Demonic Dread back. Very bizarre start. We found 2 of our 3 tap lands in the whole deck. Looks like we're against Mono Blue Terror, which I understand is a tricky matchup because they mill over lots of serpents and whatnot into their graveyard. Let's see if their Delver flips. It doesn't. Okay, that is a small grace given to us. Opponent is pondering. They do not shuffle. They have 1 mana up. They get in for their 1. Okay. Okay, we're finding some excuse me, some untapped sources. Okay, so I guess we're going to be casting Flesh Out. They have a Spell Pierce? Okay. Interestingly, might help us in a weird way. Now we've got a creature in our graveyard. It's not the greatest creature for what they've got going on. Okay, they have a Thought Scour in their hand. They cast the Thought Scour. They find a Serpent. Ugh. So now our outbursts are not so good. Yeah, this is a very bad start. Very bad start, very tricky matchup. Very bad hand. Bad, bad, bad. I don't know what we do, because it feels like Outburst. I mean, what do? We get a 3/3 back. They get a 6/5. No. I might see what we draw one more turn, but it might also behoove us to concede before they know what we've got going on. Possibly. Ruin their sideboard plan. We want to sideboard in our Fairy Macabres to fight against their serpents and terrors that fall into the graveyard. Brainstorm. Opponent on the classic quintessential island. They're going to start boomeranging us, huh? Yeah, that might be it for us. They get in for 8. Yeah, they just actually have lethal. They're so strong that they will not know what we're on. So that's good. They could probably guess based on these dual lands. Yeah, that's not it. They could probably guess based on these dual lands that we're doing something graveyardy. But they didn't actually see any of the cyclers. We're going to bring those guys in. We're going to go down Demonic Dread and Avenging Hunter. Seems like Avenging Hunter comes out quite often, as does the Demonic Dread. Nothing else we have in here is too helpful. Not to the Bone. Maybe, I don't know, but remember this deck, I'm not sure about the Not to the Bone in general. I don't know how many creatures we actually get in the graveyard compared to the Dredge deck, but we're trying it. It's part of the stock list here. But I think for our purposes here, we're going to stick with this plan. Just the Fairy Macabre. We're on the play. These tap lands again, but it's pretty good other than that. These tap lands are a little rough. But let's see if we can get the drop on our opponent. Looks like a turn 3 Exhume. Okay, so we'll keep them guessing. We're going to play our tapped Bog. Trying all the tap lands this match. And then we're going to cycle on their turn. They have no turn 1 play. I wonder if they had a Spell Pierce or if they just didn't have a lot going on. So which creature do we want against them? Ent is the better blocker, but Troll is the better attacker. I think we can try to get the drop on them with the Troll. And I'm not going to cast it into that. I could cast the Exhume. I'd rather do the Violent Outburst on their turn and see what they do. Or maybe they tap out right now. They still don't know what we're doing. They might tap out. They might feel safe. Yep. Lorien revealed. Okay, so we're going to do this now. Oops. Green, red, black. They could boomerang it, but we're getting our Troll down. Turn 3 Troll. Not too shabby. Nothing to look down at. So very nice that Violent Outburst is instant speed there. Sometimes you can surprise your opponent with a blocker. If they attack, wait for the blue player to tap out, it seems. Yeah. So we got our Troll down. We have a threat down, which is nice against control. We're going to try to attack first before we decide what to do here. Opponent takes 6. Interesting. Well, I think we want a forest. Do I try to draw out a counter with the Stormshriek Feral? See if they counter this. Probably, yeah. They counter that. Okay. All according to plan. They weren't expecting Simeon's spirit guide. Okay, so this is a very strong start. Get a food token. Okay, can you beat that opponent? Well, we do have a little advantage that they did not know what was going on, so this must be a total shocker. I can't say that it's likely that they've run into this deck much in the wild. Yeah, they're going to start playing their serpents. Very cool. Very cool for them. Delver. Okay, so they cannot block our troll. They can block. They can trade if they double block our Ent. They can trade with it, which I think is worth it for us. Yep. Cool. Cool. They're down to 8. So let's get some creatures down. We're going to cycle this, hit our land drop. Red. Check out my new land swag, by the way. Got all the Innistrad remastered basics because of the vibes. I guess I can haggle. Simeon Spirit Guide is becoming a little less useful. And we're just going to cast this guy. Extra threat. We've got 8 damage on the board. We'll see what opponent does. One more land and we can hard cast a troll. Opponent is Brainstorming. We're out of gas here though. They have 6 cards, so we're in trouble if they find a big boomerang or something. Sleep of the Dead. They could find a few things to ruin our day, for sure. Opponent, do they reveal anything? They have a Thought Scour. Cool. Terror. And Terror. Okay. So they can triple block now. That's no fun. Yeah, I wish we could cast one of these while they were tapped out. We cannot. So I think we gotta wait. I think we gotta hold on. Or probably... Do we cycle one of them and then use the land to play the other? Probably. Opponent's doing a ton of cycling. Yep. Starting to get away from us, but opponent's starting to run out of gas. Okay. They are all hands on deck here. They're getting in. I think we take it. I wonder if it makes more sense to cast the Ent into this board. So if they triple block, I still think Troll is a better attacker. I don't know. Maybe I'm supposed to get the Ent down. Oops, I meant to cast, meant to crack a food token as well. So we can attack with both, and we would trade with 2 of them. Could attack with both. How could that go wrong? They could take the 6, kill the merchant, and then attack back with a lot of damage that we couldn't stop. Yeah, we really needed to crack the food token there. I think I still attack with the troll. 5. Okay, so we'll take out 2 of their creatures. Yep. That's what we want to kill. We play a troll. So I think maybe we wanted to play the Ent instead. Ent is a much better blocker to get down and would gain us life. Opponent Thought Scours. Okay. They lose a Boomerang. That's good. Boomerang could mess us up. They got 2 cards in hand. They flash back Deep Analysis. Okay. They're getting some gas. But they lost some life for that. So if they can't get rid of the troll, they need to block it. Hydroblast. Cool. 10, 13. So if we crack the food, we would have been in good shape. Now we gotta chump one of these guys. Boo. Darn. That's a bummer. That card also does not help us. We needed to crack the food. The food! And we needed to get an Ent out there, I think. Bad choices. But, you know, we're still learning the deck, and this is a tough matchup. This does gain us life if it resolves. It doesn't resolve. Okay, so we die. Darn. Shoot. Well, we might have got there. We might have gone to game 3 anyway. But live and you learn. I'm still very new to this deck, so you're gonna see some mistakes. I'm giving you my full, no filter, unedited self. But we're gonna keep it moving to the next round. Round 2, on the draw. We do have a turn 2 troll, if we so desire. We also have a crusher that we could set up in a little while. Let's see, we could set up crusher by play this, find a swamp, second turn, flush out. So by turn 3, we could play crusher. We'll see what we draw. I don't know what's better, a turn 2 troll or a turn 3 crusher. See what the opponent's on as well. Find a forest. Okay, cool. Malevolent Rumble. They find, okay, Bogles. Interesting. They take the creature. So we're gonna swamp cycle the troll. They did not hit a land drop, so that's good. We're gonna swamp cycle the troll, so we have that option, and then we are going to see what we draw. Okay, violent outburst. So that means we cannot quite turn 2 and 3. I mean, I think we just got to get a crusher down, troll down, right? Before they have any creatures in their graveyard. Just get a troll down, and then we'll work towards the crusher. We can get like an instant speed sneaky crusher. Right now it just looks like we're playing like a Rakdos dredge deck. They don't know about this, so we can catch them off guard for sure. Take advantage of the instant speed of Violent Outburst. They play their Ledgewalker. They have Ethereal Armor. Okay, cool. So they're going to be doing some attacking soon, but they cannot block us. Right now we have a faster clock. We are going to play a forest. We've got our nice Jund colors. So the plan is we're going to attack, we're going to flush out, and then we're going to cycle something to make sure we hit our land drop, and then we can instant speed Violent Outburst for an Ulamog's Crusher and ruin their life. Ooh, we're close to... Imagine if we drew 2 Simian Spirit Guides there. I guess that's a reason to leave up... We should have left up green instead of black. Gotta think about that. Leave up green. More likely to be able to cast something. Opponent's got a big attacker, for sure. They're gonna try to race us. They're almost hellbent. That also beats our Crusher. They might just kill us, huh? So here's the question. Any enchantment, basically, especially if they get trample. So do I leave this guy back to block? And then Crusher, instant speed Crusher? I guess we can Storm Shriek Feral. See what we draw. Discard Avenging Hunter. Okay, more Simian Spirit Guides. I could, yeah, leave the troll back to block, and then Ulamog's Crusher would be pretty devastating for them. They're probably not expecting Violent Outburst, but they're certainly going to give it like Trample or Lifelink. Yeah, Trample and Lifelink. That sucks. That sucks for us. They attack. We... Oh, we need flying. Oh my god. Not even reach. Yeah, so there's no way out of that, huh? Bummer. So we should have just... Okay. Okay. What do we want against Bogles? The sweepers are no good. Ingot chewers no good. Ugh, I guess Gnaw to the Bone. Fairy Macabre is not that good. Guess we'll take Gnaw to the Bone. Go down Avenging Hunters. I mean, we could take... They have, like, Malevolent Rumble, so we can take a couple of these in case they get any creatures in their graveyard. Oh, that was not good. I guess going for the turn 3 Crusher might have been better. They had a fast start. They did have a fast start. This hand we will keep. Got an Exhume, we got some friends. Is it an Ent angle? What a beautiful dragon. Sagu Wildling. Well, let's see. Let's see what they do. Seems like a tricky matchup. Maybe we need some kind of sacrifice effect. Hexproof. Okay. So what do we want to do? Do we want Ent or do we want Oliphant? Just get untapped lands. Get an Ent. Okay. Well, I've got an Ent, but their Glade Cover Scout is quickly going to outpace the Ent. Yes, and we cannot block the Ledgewalker, so that's probably the one that they're going to power up. Violent Outburst. Okay. So we can find a red. We can play the red. Guess we attack. We will Stormshriek Feral, flush out, discard Sagu Wildling. Okay, we find Gnaw to the Bone. Okay, so we got some life gain, but opponent, I bet their clock is gonna start speeding up here. They are on a double creature draw, so on more lands, so that means less enchantments, but yeah, all it takes is a couple key ones. They also don't have their land enchantments, so looks like they're just going to be attacking for 2 here. Not too scared of that. Sagu Wildling can block, so maybe we save this one to cast in case this gets out of control, just to chump block for a turn. Ooh, there's a Crusher. We don't have a way to discard it, unfortunately. Very unfortunate. But we can do a surprise. Our opponent never saw the Violent Outburst, huh? Okay, they're gonna block. So maybe they have a slower situation going on. Do we Roost Seek just to be mana efficient? I think not. We're gonna try to Violent Outburst into Oliphant, and then we'll have some Tramplers. We'll have 11, 12, 13 surprise damage coming at them next turn. Whoo, Ancestral Mask, okay. Well, we've got some life gain on backup, so that's good. Whoa, 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 chill out. 9/9. Yikes. Okay. And combat, we're going to cast our thingy. We're going to violently outburst. We're going to get our Oliphant. Another Violent Outburst. I suppose we just cast the Sagu Wildling for the life gain, plus it's a blocker, and cross our fingers and toes. We could also food token plus Gnaw to the Bone. That's more life, but not enough to save us. Yeah, we gotta get our tramplers in. Oliphant Trample is occasionally very nice. Thank you, Oliphant. Kind of lacking on red sources here. Even if we find a haggle or something to discard this, we're gonna have problems. Opponent's saving some life. Yep. We trample over, they're at 4. We're gonna cast our Sagu Wildling. Gain 3 life, and it's a flyer that can block their Ledgewalker. Here comes the Armadillo Cloak. They always have it. They always have it. So they're gonna gain 14 life, and they have trample now. So we barely survive. And then we die next turn. Darn. That life gain. Yep. Gain 1,000,000 life. There's no way we can outgain that. They got another creature. For good measure. I could have almost won last turn with the Violent Outburst. They would have been at 2 instead of 4. There's nothing we can do now. We just die. Yep, no haste. I guess we can bring back Sagu Wildling. Let's see, we can gain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 life. And block, but that's not enough. Not enough power. I think we're cooked. Chat. No, it can't be. Okay, off to a very quick 0-2 start. This deck is quite fragile to certain strategies, but we're gonna keep it going. See you next round. Round 3 on the play. Against Justin Bielber. This hand is weird. We need a green source. But we can haggle into a green source, maybe? Let's try it. Maybe it's a mistake. We've got so many, all of our cyclers find a green source of some sort. Surely we can find something. Looks like we might be against Burn or Madness Burn. Haggle, discard Avenging Hunter. Potential reanimation target, although probably not good in this matchup. Not as good in an aggro matchup. We find Exhume. Nope. Haggle. Let's try to find... There's our green source eventually. Okay, bad start. Maybe I shouldn't have kept the hand. Maybe I'm crashing out. And they Bajuka Bog us. Okay. I didn't want that Avenging Hunter anyway. Generous Ent is a much better reanimation target against what they've got going on. See what we draw. This is kind of a slow start for them. They went for the Bajuka Bog. They probably know what's going on. Maybe they rushed out an early Bajuka Bog because they saw the threat of the Avenging Hunter. Opponents. Let's see. Okay. So we cycle the Ent. We find a forest. And then we use the forest to roost seek for a swamp. Now we got all the colors of the rainbow. Opponent gets their kitchen imp down, hits us for 2 with the grab the prize. Cool. Getting in, okay. So I'm thinking I could exhume now. Or I could violent outburst, catch them off guard. I could roost seek plus exhume, or I could violent outburst and block one of their creatures. I think we might try to do that. Make them attack into it. I think that buys us more time than if they just let their creatures sit back and block. Of course, whatever I block and kill will come back on the next exhume. Opponent faithless loots. Discard Sneaky Snacker, Fiery Temper. They're hitting their land drops. Oh, they bring back Bajuka Bog. Okay, good to know. They attack. We will violently. We're gonna have a freak out, violent outburst. Exhume. Oh, he knows. He knows the deck. He knows what we're doing. The jig is up, folks. If only we could find an Ulamog Crusher, that would be a much nicer situation, huh? I suppose we want to... We almost want to save the Roost Seek, or save the Sagu Wildling for the life gain. They have a Bajuka Bog, so we don't want to do this ahead of time. We can Roost Seek for green, play green. Then we can cycle, use Spirit Guide for an instant speed violent outburst. They could just kill us, huh? Feels like we got to do some damage, but we kind of can't afford to attack. If I hit them for 5, they'll hit us for 3. They certainly can do 6 damage. But holding things back is not the answer either. We could, I guess maybe the move was Swamp Cycle, Exhume, Troll? Food token? No, that doesn't help either. We can cycle, exhume. No. Okay. Let's engage in some friendly banter with the opponent to build a sense of camaraderie. We kind of wanted to keep that Sagu Wildling, huh? We have merchants. I guess now is the moment, huh? They can't Bajuka Bog at instant speed, so that's cool. Just keep getting untapped lands. There was a consideration for Geothermal Bog, but kill their attackers. They will get back a Kitchen Imp, I assume. They could just double Burn Spell or Troll, but I don't know. We are pretty dead here, I think. We'll see. We're just not outputting enough damage. Block, block. They probably get their snacker back with a Grab the Prize, or they could flashback Faithless Looting. So we're definitely not out of the woods. Yep, there's a Faithless Looting from hand. They get their snacker. Fiery Temper at my face. We do need to gain a lot of life here. Oof, yeah. Yeah, I don't think we're fast enough here. We really need the... I feel like Ulamog's Crusher is really the strongest thing. I guess we'll be casting Merchant of the Veil. I guess we might as well attack with the Troll, since it can't block their flyers. But I think we're pretty cooked here, honestly. Unless our opponent has a bunch of lands in hand. We might be able to do something funky with target creature can't block this turn. There's Bolt. Yeah, they got us. Any burn spell wins. I'm going to hover the concede button. They're going to attack first before ending it all. Well, you can't say we didn't try. 2 damage, and then here comes Faithless Looting into Burn Spell, I presume. $11, $12, $13. Kitchen Imp post-combat. Are they toying with us? They don't have any burn? Maybe they're just dotting all their I's and crossing all their T's. Highway robbery, discarding. No Fiery Temper, discarding Mountain. And do they find a Bolt? They're really edging us here. They exile our graveyard. We don't have anything good in there anyway. Sagu Wildling is good. So their plan to attack with these two. Well, we are staying alive, not very confidently. We could Merchant of the Veil, discard Sagu Wildling, and then exhume it back. No, they'll get a creature. We're just gonna hard cast it. Gain 3 life, and it's a blocker. But any burn spell still wins them the game. And they've got so many looks at a burn spell. Any bolt, any fiery temper, any alms. Grab the prize. Yeah, that'll do it. Ah, we're 1 turn away. Okay. Okay. Get it back under control. So we're gonna bring in Gnaw to the Bone, take out Avenging Hunter. We're gonna bring in some Wraths. Maybe a Fang Dragon, a single Fang Dragon. Try it like that. We've got Wildling and Ents and Gnaws for life gain, and then we can Wrath away their creatures, presumably. Okay, try it like that. This is a tricky matchup. It feels winnable. It feels winnable if we hit some of our sideboard cards. Maybe I should have saved that one Sagu to cast. That could have been the difference. Sagu Wildling seems really good in this matchup, even just as a blocker. Okay, this hand we will keep. Feels like something is happening here. We can do turn 2 Troll. Unless they have Bajuka Bog at the right time, or Nile Spellbomb. We're gonna give it a go. One little trick if you're against Grave Hate, a Nile Spellbomb, you can cycle after the Spellbomb resolves to exhume something. You can also haggle at instant speed after a Spellbomb or other piece of Grave Hate resolves. So that's how we hope to get around, be a little tricky, hope to get around some hate. Opponent starting with a Swamp Duress. Interesting. Didn't think this deck ran Duress, but okay. They're going to slow us down. Take the Violent Outburst. Sure. Sure. We're just going to have to find another one then. So in that case, I think we still want black. We could have found a dual land, but we have a Roost Seek if we need it. Okay. We're going to cast Roost Seek. We're going to find red. We will play red, play mountain, and then we will haggle on end step, and we just gotta find a Cascade, a Violent Outburst, or we gotta find an Exhume directly. What have we got? Opponents taking stock of everything on our end step, staring lovingly at the cards in their hand. Got some very intimidating lands here. Okay, Jagged Barrens, no Bajuka Bog. Slow start for our opponent. I guess they had the Duress, but not much to back it up, it seems. They've been really thinking on these end steps. Okay, let's haggle. Let's discard Ulamog's Crusher. A Crusher, if we could somehow finagle a Crusher next turn, that would be good. The Prophecy? The Prophecy? And Violent Outburst. Do they have anything that could kill a Crusher? That we'd want to like Violent Outburst and surprise them? I guess we don't want them to cast a discard spell, additional cost, discard a creature, but they would get the creature back right away. I think we just save the Violent Outburst and Exhume now. Turn 3 Crusher. That's close to the best case scenario. I mean, maybe it's correct to just Violent Outburst. And we could always do it in response to anything that seemed dangerous. But I don't think they can kill this once it's down, unless they have Extract a Confession. Faithless Looting. Discards. They need something big. It's nice to play Ulamog Crusher. You don't get to see that in the Dredge decks. What a disgusting friend we have. Okay, the Concede. Okay, well, we fought through a Duress, so that's nice. Is Fang Dragon even good? It's fine against... Is it better than Avenging Hunter? Probably. Maybe we'd rather have Fairy Macabre instead of just to deal with some of their snacky sneakers. Try it like that. We don't need to... It's not that deep. We don't need to go that crazy on the sneaky snackers. This hand does nothing. We're going to throw that away. I'm not sure about Gnaw to the Bone. Is there a better life gain or aggro strategy? Uh-oh. We're going to 5, folks. We're going to 5. No lands. This is a keep. We can fight through a Duress. I guess we get rid of... Do we get rid of Gnaw? Do we get rid of Ulamog's Crusher? That's so sad. If we draw any... But then we need to keep red, but then we can't... But then we need to keep black to exhume the troll. I think we're going to have to find another red source. But we got the turn to exhume. Okay. Opponent hits us with some jagged rocks. There's the Stormshriek Feral. Darn! So we probably wanted to keep the Oliphant in hindsight. It would be turn 2 Flush Out, turn 3 Outburst, or Exhume. Opponent is grabbing our prize. They get a snacker. Cool. We will cycle... At the very least, the troll will slow them down. They need to deal with it, or double burn spell it. Ent will be good. Ent might be our next target. I guess we can Ent for the green-black land. Sorry, green-red. I don't know, it's precarious. It feels precarious to me. Multi-5 is not where we want to be. It's a relatively powerful multi-5, but we're just... I'm feeling... If it was a 6, I think this would be a lot stronger. If we had the Oliphant option. Lightning Axe. Huh. This deck doesn't typically run Lightning Axe. That's interesting. They still had to use 2 cards to do that. Okay. Simian Spirit Guide. So we can get a forest. We should probably still get the... green-black... Sorry, green-red land. The question is it worth using Spirit Guide now to Stormshriek Feral? And then next turn we can Violent Outburst. We're just scared of Bajuka Bog. If we lose our whole graveyard, that's really bad. Versus... if we draw a land, which is somewhat unlikely, if we draw a land, we can Feral plus Violent Outburst. Or we can risk it all, hope there's no grave hate. We're still drawing cards. I don't know. Let's try it. Okay, we draw Gnaws to the Bone. Interesting. So we're really blown out by any grave hate right now. But opponent might just be on the madness, do a bunch of damage plan. I don't know. Grab the prize. Discarding Highway Robbery. Interesting. Jagged Barrens. Okay. We dodged the bog. So can they do 9 damage? We can seek a roost, which is good. We can gain 6 life. I guess we can see what they do. We have the option of Violent Outburst into Ent to block. We can Gnaw to the Bone at instant speed for 6. Gnaw to the Bone for 6 is not that much. Maybe we just like gnaw, but I'm really scared of grave hate. I think we gnaw now. Otherwise, they're in a situation where we can't tap out. And they need to have, yeah, they would need to have double burn spell in hand right then. Very precarious. Should I gnaw now? Another 6 life, up to 14. They seem like they're running out of gas. Let's see what they do at end of turn. That looks like wanting to blood token. Faithless Looting. What do they get? What do they discard? Ugh. Imp and Alms. I guess Generous Ent. Generous Ent into sack the food token, exile the spirit guide is gain 5 essentially, because I'm taking care of one of their creatures. Then our gnaws get smaller. I really want to get the Crusher out, you guys. But I feel like getting the Generous Ent out keeps us, basically saves 2 life per turn. Gain life. Block. This is quite dicey, eh? Got some life gain in the graveyard still. We're a long ways away from killing them. We really need to... I feel like drawing Exhume would be good. We still need to just keep gnawing. Oh my god, Lightning Axe? Okay, well they're hellbent. They got rid of Nile's Spellbomb, interesting. Breath Weapon is not where we want to be at. Okay, well that makes our gnaw better. So let's just do that. Want them to commit more before we Breath Weapon. We can start holding up Gnaw and Breath Weapon and find something. They discard 2 lands, so that's not so good for them. We're slowly clawing ourselves out of range, and they're struggling to find value. Sagu Wildling, we want to hard cast, if anything. So maybe we leave up either Gnaw or Breath Weapon, depending on what they do. Yep, there's a bolt. Pumping out the damage, huh? Faithless Looting. No Madness. Duress. Do they have any more Faithless in their graveyard? I think we Breath Weapon. Slow the creature down. They can get rid of our Gnaw, but then we can flash it back anyway. They're hellbent. They don't have any... They could double Blood Token to get their Snacker back, but it's going to be a while. Okay. We're going to find a land and we're going to Gnaw. Our Gnaw gets bigger because of that. Feels like we're walking a tightrope of madness. Opponent. Wow, they're discarding a bolt. They're really valuing that Snacker and a Duress. They get the Snacker back. But our Sagu Wildling will be quite good against that. Vampire's Kith. That's nice. That's very nice for them that they found that. We're going to get black. Ooh, we are on the knife's edge. We're going to Gnaw. Let's not forget. Gnaw to the bone. Okay. We're losing on time as well, so we gotta be careful. Okay, Sagu Wildling, another 3 life, and a blocker. Hopefully soon an attacker. 1 more land and we can hardcast Oliphant. That's nice. They find Kitchen Imp, sadly. Our days are numbered. Whew. They're thinking. They drew something very intriguing. They discard Voldaren Epicure in the hopes of finding something more interesting. They don't attack. Okay. We're going Hellbent. But we gotta leave back the blocker. We can start attacking in theory for 11 per turn, but we don't want to do that. Okay, they're drawing a lot of lands. More discard fodder for them. I guess we should start attacking, huh? They bolt the Sagu Wildling. Yeah, so we should have attacked. Though maybe they would have just hit our face. Okay. Now we want to find reanimation spells, I think. Not what we wanted. Not like this. Now we draw all our lands. Keep a card in hand to keep them stressed out and guessing. They've gained so much life. Yep, we're almost dead. Exhume. Exhume on Ent, I guess. Yeah, and they're gonna get a Kitchen Imp back. I think we gotta though. Maybe they get Voldaren Epicure if they want some action, if some discard action, if they need to fuel some madness in their hand. I think that's what they're considering. I'm gonna say they have at least 1 madness spell in their hand. Just gonna crack that now. Gonna get in for 6. Maybe I should have done that pre-combat, but I don't think they're gonna block. And then we could be dead. 6. Yeah. Could be dead soon. We need to draw something good. If we survive this turn and we draw something good, we've used 3 Exhumes. If we draw like a Gnaw or yeah, this Ent just cancels out with the Imp we helped them get back, sadly. Okay, Gnaw or Reanimation for Sagu Wildling. Simian Spirit Guide is not it. Uh-oh. So I think we gotta leave Ent back to block. Very sad. Very sad, close game. Yeah, drawing that late game Spirit Guide is not ideal. Do they have 5 damage in hand? Or do they need to leave back a blocker in case we trample over them? It's the moment of truth. Yeah, so awkward with those puny. It's possible I should have just let them take the breath weapon and got an extra activation out of my. No. Not sure. They hard cast Imp. So that's a good sign, maybe. Now they need, but they just need one burn spell to kill us, right? So do they have it? Or do they need to leave back blockers? Feels like they're doing blocker math, but okay, let's see what they do. Ooh, okay, interesting. Now we gotta do blocker math. Darn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're always one short for Ulamog's Crusher. Okay. Oh no. So we can attack for 13 trample. 14, 15. And they can block 6 damage worth. Wait. We can attack for, let me do my math. 7 plus 6 is 13, 14, 15. And they can block 6 damage worth max by here, here, here. So they need a burn spell in hand, and they're still going to lose their whole board. Okay, I guess we got to attack then. This is not good for my health, games like this. Do you have a burn spell for my Simian Spirit Guide? Or instant speed gain life? GG. Oh. Oh. That felt like we cheated death. Felt like we cheated death. Ooh, just barely. Okay. I think they said something nice there. Amazing game. Cool. Okay, well, we took down Madness Burn. That's a plus, but whew, this deck is not for the faint of heart. It's a little dicey sometimes. We're going to keep it going, see if we can salvage a couple more matches. Round 4 on the play. Guidonic. Okay. Well, we got turn 2 Violent Outburst. Yeah, we'll try it. Turn 2 Ent. Can't complain about that. Forest. Very innocent forest. Look how beautiful and serene it is. Opponent could not possibly be worried. Okay, we're against aggro, so turn 2 Ent should be pretty powerful. Against red. I shall cycle my forest. I shall find probably the dual land, because we'll need it for later, but this turn we're going to be playing forest. Avenging Hunter, probably not as good in this matchup. Okay, we're going to catch him off guard with the Violent Outburst Ent blocker. Opponent is synthesizing. They find a Voldaren Epicure. They play a land, they play the Epicure. Okay. They poke us in the eye with their Epicure. They attack with Goblin Tomb Raider. And you know, if you're against this deck and you play and you see a Simian Spirit Guide, if you're against any deck and you see Simian Spirit Guide being exiled, you know you're in for a whale of a time. We will have to note that future Exhumes are going to bring back their Tomb Raider, but we got to save some damage. Oh, my god, they concede. Okay. Can't beat the Ent, huh? Okay, well, we're bringing in Gnaw to the Bone. We're taking out Avenging Hunters. We're bringing in some Wrath effects. Some sweeping effects. Fang Dragon. Is Fang Dragon worth? I don't think so. I think we're going to try it like that. Sweepers and Gnaw and Sagu Wildling should be helpful if we can get up to 5 mana in the mid game. Okay, well that was very fast. This looks like a turn 3 Violent Outburst. Opponent may have brought in their Relics of Progenitai, so we'll have to be a little tricky with our mountain cycling perhaps. Yep, there it is. Okay, so we'll just get a little tricky. We're gonna have to use an Oliphant to mountain cycle, but if we could, oh, maybe we Roost Seek instead. No, we want one Oliphant in our graveyard. We want one Oliphant in our graveyard. Opponent taps it. Opponent sending us a message. That's true. They're gonna exile it with the relic, huh? Interesting. Percussionist coming at us. So I guess our Oliphant will get exiled, sadly, with the tap effect. But we gotta find our land. We can still set up something tricky here, I think. Okay, we find a forest. Yeah, the tap effect is annoying. We want to set up a situation where we have a creature in our graveyard, we cast the Violent Outburst, and then we can mountain cycle in response. It's also bad for our Gnaw to the Bone that this relic is out here. I could consider Ingot Chewers if this goes to another game. It feels like I have to flush out, but I don't really want to discard any of these. Is this irresponsible if I discard a land? Okay, no, we found more lands. Okay. Yeah, this relic is making things challenging. There's an Exhume. Interesting. So we want to Roost Seek. We might just Breath Weapon. Yeah, let's play it cool. Let's try to Breath Weapon. They're missing land drops. They're holding up their relic. If we Breath Weapon sooner rather than later, they're going to exile their own creatures when they crack the relic, so that means they're not going to exhume them back. Galvanic Blast. Okay, they can still cast things at instant speed with their saved up relic mana. I think we got to do this. What are they going to do? Improvised Club. Sacrifice an artifact or creature. Deal 4 damage to any target. I have never seen this card before. Is that our troll? What? They took my troll. Why is my troll betraying me, huh? They find another Clockwork Percussionist. Hopefully no land to go with it. Okay, they did a lot of damage there. Little spooky. But they do not have relic mana. So we can exhume our troll right now. We could also Merchant of the Veil, discard Sagu Wildling and get the Sagu Wildling back if we think we need the mana. I think we can cast Sagu Wildling. Sorry, if we think we need the life. I don't think they can do 8 damage unless they have like a perfect hand. Ugh. They are going to get back a creature though. They might attack and then Galvanic Blast our troll. Yeah, that is a lot of value for them. Let's see what they got. Burning Tree Emissary. Uh-oh. They're going wide. Kind of wide. We can Sagu Wildling next turn, which is not bad. I don't know if they want to attack. Yeah, they don't. Okay. So they're kind of choking up here. We want to get an untapped mountain so we can Sagu. They make us exile an Exhume. We'll get our last untapped mountain. We will... Interesting. We could Oliphant right now before it gets exiled. It's tempting. But everything we exhume, they get something back. I think we want to attack. I think we're just going to get the Sagu Wildling down. They might have to use a burn spell on it, but that's basically a gain of 6 life. We will lose the Oliphant, sadly. Yeah, what's the alternative? We could have Exhume plus... We could have Gnaw to the Bone plus Exhume. Maybe that was better. And then we're attacking for a bunch of trample damage. Maybe that was better. No, we didn't have enough mana for that because we used one for the Oliphant. Didn't we? No. I think we could have exhumed plus Gnaw to the Bone. Oh my god. They're going for it. They look to be holding up their relic. Guess they're planning to like triple block our troll. Guess we gotta haggle away a merchant. So we can get the Oliphant back. We can get an Oliphant back by cycling this in response. Does that do us much good? They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 power. They've only got one card in hand. So yeah, we want to keep doing damage. Maybe we can get the Oliphant down. Is it worth doing this on their turn? Either way, they could crack the relic. We could Violent Outburst, and then we have the option of Knot to the Bone. Violent Outburst on to make a sneaky blocker. And then they gotta keep holding their mana up potentially. We could Knot to the Bone right now, gain 4 life. And then we're essentially taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 down to 9. And then hope for no grave hate. But then we'll lose Knot to the Bone to the exile. I think we'll stick with the Violent Outburst plan. Unless they have another piece of grave hate, we'll cast Violent Outburst in response. Ooh, Bushwhacker. Whew, okay. Are we dead? Are we just dead? Get the bog. Cast. Next turn we can, if we survive, I'm not really doing math here. We're taking, they probably have a burn spell in hand. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we barely survive, so if they have a burn spell, we're donezo. We're donezo. And they end. Oh, we won. Oh, they actually didn't have a burn spell. Okay. Whew. Yeah, we could have exhumed Sagu Wildling there, gained some more life. Knot to the Bone. Yeah, wow. A little bit lucky, but okay. Things are turning around. We were oddly beating these aggro decks. Okay, well, on to the last match with Pauper Living End. Final round. We're on the play. Midna's here to keep us company. Things are looking up. And we got a sick hand. We cannot quite exhume turn 2, but we want to find a way to discard Ulamog's Crusher, but we got 2 exhumes. We got exhume targets. We need to find a Storm Shriek Feral or a Merchant. I like our opponent's name, Horse Duck. Horse? No, it's not a horse duck. It's a horse duck. Oh. Okay, so I guess we should prepare to get red-black. Ooh, gates. Okay. Okay. So we gotta worry about some lifelink shenanigans. We will get the black. Sagu Wildling. Very cool. So we can Roost Seek for our black mana if we so desire. Clicking on the wrong mode. Beautiful, beautiful dragon. Do I get black? Do I get green? Let's get green. We've got black already. Okay, there's the Oliphant. We gotta worry about Thraben Charm, I suppose. Probably a couple in the main deck at least, and then more in the sideboard. Gate Creeper Vine. Opponent is piecing together the gates. We will probably be exhuming Oliphant. Trample is looking good against the defender. And then we're probably going to seek out an untapped land so we can set up for a potential Avenging Hunter in 2 turns, or 1 turn if we draw the Simian Spirit Guide. Boo! A Journey to Nowhere, okay. Very interesting. We want to draw Haggle, that would be awesome. And we could get our Ulamog's Crusher down at instant speed. Unfortunate that our Oliphant got taken on an involuntary journey. Another land, not very exciting. I guess we can Violent Outburst. Another Oliphant. Suppose that's our plan. And we can do it at instant speed, and the next turn follow it up with an Avenging Hunter. Seems pretty strong. See if the see what the opponent's got going on. They're about to start hitting their power spike too. Yep, there's a lifelinker. It can be a 5/5 in a couple of turns. Violent Outburst. We've used 2 of our Exhumes. Watch, we're going to draw something to discard our Ulamog's Crusher next. Just you watch. Do they have Thraben Charm? Okay. Okay, maybe that was unwise. Maybe I should have done it while they were tapped out then. Darn. Okay, the jig is up, folks. The jig is up. Oh, I knew it. I knew it. Darn. I guess if we had waited, it would have gotten Thraben Charmed. I guess we were supposed to just get the Oliphant back on at the end of our own turn. Well, in any case, I guess we Avenging Hunter. It's possible they could steal the initiative if they play another gate and pump this. But let's thin out our deck and get some sort of game plan rolling here. We will grab a mountain. What will opponent do? Opponent is not going to be pumping this turn, it looks like. No? Yes? They're thinking. They have another gate. Oh no. Okay. They're not pumping. They are doing something. Is this a Chrysalis? Yep. Writhing Chrysalis. Okay. That's going to be able to steal them the initiative back pretty soon. Journey to Nowhere. Thraben Charm, okay. Okay, so they'll steal the initiative. But they are tapped out. There's a window here. There is a window. They're going to start gaining a ton of life, though. We've lost the initiative. Let's haggle. Let's see if we can draw into one of our cascades. Please, please, please. No, we had another land. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess we should have just hard cast the Oliphant then. I guess we should have cast the Merchant. I'm crashing out. I'm crashing out. It's okay. All of those things look pretty bad against the cat. I think we might be cooked either way. Merchant, why are you so tiny? No wonder I forget to play you. Yeah. Plus a million, plus a million. I don't think, even if I didn't screw that up, I don't think we could have won this. Ulamog's Crusher is not even looking so strong anymore. I think we're not literally dead, but we're pretty dead. Opponent's gonna gain a million life. We can't stop them. Then they're gonna get in for 5, 6. Yeah, we're gonna concede. Oh, no. Okay. So what do we do against them? Sweepers, I guess. It's not really worth bringing this in for the cat. We can bring in a couple exile effects. Venging Hunter, seems like we would have a hard time keeping the initiative. Let's try it like that. We're on the play again. Okay, this hand. What am I looking at? Lots of red mana. I think we got a mulligan. I don't know. We could find a green source potentially, but okay. This hand, it's doing something, I suppose. Put back a land because we've got essentially 4 land here. Very macabre in case something goes sideways with the graveyard. We're going to start with a swamp in case we draw Exhume. We're going to Mountain Cycle so we have our red source for the Feral next turn. Yeah, we only have a small window before they're on Thraben Charm, unfortunately. Journey to Nowhere is kind of a beating against us as well, even if we had the Crusher start. Guess we flush out, discard, probably discard that for now. Okay, lots of roost seeking. We need to draw one of our 8 Exhumes. Actually, just drawing literal Exhume would be better. Okay, Outlaw Medic. This match ain't big enough for the both of us. Oh, there's Exhume. Okay. Interesting. Well, whatever I cast, they're probably going to journey to nowhere. But I think we still want to try and do this while they're tapped out. That's what the deck does. If they have Journey to Nowhere, that sucks. Do I get a dual land? Why slow ourselves down? Let's get the troll up and running. No whammies, no whammies. Opponent, what are they going to do? If troll survives, it's pretty good, but I shouldn't have said that. Okay. Gatecreeper Vine, okay. That does not look like a Journey to Nowhere. They find their Basilisk Gate. They find a Thraben Inspector. Okay, so they got a bunch of little dorks. But yeah, they could block my troll, but I don't think they really gain that much. They'd be losing 3 creatures to draw 1 card and gain a life. That's no good. Do we find a mountain? We're going to attack first. So I'm thinking we haggle something. And then we're close to Sagu Wildingling, so maybe we keep those. Get a mountain, play a mountain. Maybe should have saved that. Okay. So we've got all the lands we could desire. And we can start casting Sagu Wildlings. Opponent, I guess this is their lifelinker, huh? Or is that how they plan to race? Okay. So they've got a clock, and they're slowing down our clock. We have 1 more swamp in deck? No, we don't. Ugh, tap land, okay. So we can't do Sagu Wildling. I guess I shouldn't have gotten rid of that land. Oh my gosh, this is a joke. Okay. Oops, I meant to play that. Okay, well, we're in a race. We're going to cast the Merchant. So at least their Thraben Inspector can't attack anymore. And then we're on the Sagu Wildling plan. I suppose I shouldn't have Roost Seeked the 1 Sagu Wildling. Okay, there's a Journey to Nowhere. So our life just got hard. But opponent did not find another gate that turn, so that's good. They are tapping out, so if we find an Exhume effect or a Cascader, it will be good. They're hitting us for 4. Okay, we can slow them down with the Sagu life gain, but we're falling behind. Do we Storm Shriek Feral just to get aggressive? I think so. Sick. Sick. We could have done some more digging for an Exhume effect. But if we don't find it, then we've just done nothing with the turn. Okay, we've got a fast clock, but opponent's life gain is going to get stronger and stronger. What do they got? Another gate creeper. We can theoretically pump this to a 5/3. They found another gate, so next turn they can start double basilisk gating. Yep, that's trouble. That's very much trouble for us. And Outlaw Medic does not die to our dragon's breath weapon. Oh God. What do we do? We're done. I guess we gotta like fish for something, huh? But what could we even reanimate if we find an Exhume? A troll? Troll doesn't do it. Troll will just die when we block. We're definitely gonna need a chump block, I guess. I think it's safest to cast this. Gain the 3 life. Attack and then have a blocker. Opponent's about to gain 1 billion life. We don't have any way to kill this, so yeah, that's the thing about this deck. If their creatures get bigger than your Crusher, if you don't get like an early threat down, if they weather the early turns, then like we just don't have anything in the deck to deal with this. I guess one thing to consider would be siding in Snuff Out. Putting Snuff Out in the sideboard might be good for situations like this. Some of it is user error. I'm new to this deck. But yeah, I really don't know what we could draw to get out of this at this point. Opponent's going to gain 1 billion life. Bummer. And we're just casting inefficient dragons. Very thematic. Breath Weapon does not hurt our dragons. Just gonna flush out, see what we draw. Violent Outburst. Breath Weapon. We can Breath Weapon and like screw up one of their basilisk pumps if they choose to do that. But we're still, they just gain so much life. There's no way we're getting out of this, right? Yep. Then they pump their Thraben. And this is where we Breath Weapon. Sure. Survive a turn. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. Oh, I can't believe this Outlaw Medic is taking them all the way home. We can play a chump blocker every turn, but we can't do more damage than they're gaining. Oh, now they can double. Yeah, that's it. Okay. GG's. Well, how do we feel about this deck? I feel like we didn't get to do our Ulamog's Crusher very often, which is very sad. Maybe we need to be mulliganing more aggressively to find Ulamog's Crusher and Cascades or Exhumes. You know, you have a couple games where your opponent can't beat a turn 2 or turn 3 Ulamog's Crusher. We didn't get to do that this time. I think I'm supposed to mulligan more aggressively. I think that's the thing. But it's cool. You can see it has a little bit of grind potential. You got to be careful about managing your Avenging Hunters. Sideboard, I don't know. Not to the Bone is always on like 1 to 3 creatures. I don't think Not to the Bone is right. I think maybe something else to do. I mean, we did win the 2 aggro matchups, so that's and those are like top tier decks. So there's something to be said for that, and Not to the Bone was helpful there. It just feels like we were gaining like 6 life, 8 life maximum, and that's if there was no Grave Hate. And there usually is by game 2 or 3. So maybe the sideboard, I feel like having some snuff outs in here would be good. Snuff out could have gotten us out of that last matchup. Yeah, my advice is mulligan more aggressively. Try to get that early Crusher down if at all possible, because a lot of these games, if they go a little bit long, you lose your grip, and you have so many bad draws with the spirit guides and stuff. So anyway, that was fun though. What a cool deck. Yeah, let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.